Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday, September 18th. Quite an explosive situation here in the Mid-Atlantic region with a strong cold front pushing to the east. And there is a threat today for some severe weather to include some possible damaging winds, even isolated tornadoes later on this afternoon and evening. It's quite likely a squall line of strong thunderstorms develops and moves to the east later on this afternoon into the evening hours. Finally, that cold front will push off the east coast tomorrow morning, and that'll pave the way for cooler, drier weather for the remainder of the week. Lots of ingredients are coming together today for the potential for that severe weather this afternoon and evening, and we'll go over quite a few of those ingredients over the next few minutes. First of all, here's the latest surface map. A warm frontal system has now moved north of much of the big city regions from D.C. to New York City in the Mid-Atlantic. Here now we are now in a southerly flow of air. Dew points yesterday was still quite low, even started off in the morning way down in the upper 40s to lower 50s in parts of the Mid-Atlantic region. That changed drastically overnight as quite a humid air mass has moved in from the south to the north. That's ingredient number one. Quite a bit of tropical air has moved all the way north up along the east coast in the overnight hours. Meanwhile, ingredient number two is a very strong cold front right here, slowly moving to the east across the Ohio Valley. Quite a bit of cold, dry air, cold for this time of the year, cold, dry air pushing in behind that, and that front will slowly advance to the east today, again reaching the coastal region by later on tonight, and then off the east coast by tomorrow morning. This is a map that's perhaps a little more colorful way to show the increase in humidity along the east coast that occurred overnight. The greens here represent more humid air. This is really a color scheme depicting different dew point temperatures, and dew points now from about the Mason-Dixon line on south are actually in the low 70s, and again that's quite a change from late yesterday when dew points were still in the 50s in many parts of the Mid-Atlantic region. Winds are flowing parallel to these black lines here, basically out of the south to the north along the east coast, and that is just moving in to the Mid-Atlantic region along I-95 corridor, this kind of tropical air that is one of the ingredients needed for the potential for both heavy rain and severe weather later on today. Low pressure is now out over the eastern part of the Great Lakes, and here's where that frontal system trails that primary low pressure system in the lower part of the Great Lakes, and that front will be pressing east right into this moisture-laden air later on this afternoon. Here's the latest infrared satellite loop for the nation, and again a very healthy looking system here pressing to the east coast. And interestingly, there's definitely a Gulf of Mexico connection here. There was a kind of a weak wave, a tropical looking wave that developed late yesterday in the northern part of the Gulf, and that has just added fuel to the fire here. A lot of Gulf tropical air moving right up along the east coast as this colder, drier air presses in from the Ohio Valley. So quite a nice looking band of clouds here with some severe thunderstorms already developing here in the southeastern states. And again, a squall line could develop here in the Mid-Atlantic region later on this afternoon into the early part of this evening. Well, here's the current radar loop. Just some isolated showers for the next few hours from D.C. across to Baltimore, Philadelphia, and New York City. It can come down very briefly hard over the next few hours, but for the most part, scattered showers for the next few hours. It'll be later on this afternoon into the evening when this main band of widespread showers and thunderstorms moves from the western part of Pennsylvania, the western Virginia section, all the way to the Mid-Atlantic I-95 corridor. So we'll watch for the potential for some heavy rain this afternoon into the evening, and again, some embedded strong thunderstorms that could contain damaging winds. There's even the possibility of some isolated tornadoes to develop later on this afternoon. Of course, we'll monitor the situation over the next several hours. A couple other ingredients here I'd like to take a quick look at. This is the forecast map for the upper part of the atmosphere later on this afternoon, early part of the evening, at 500 millibar level from the NAM computer forecast model. Tremendous looking upper level trough here in the east, and that's all part of the equation here as well. This is one other ingredient where we have very healthy upper level support, strong energy in the upper part of the atmosphere. 500 millibars represents the atmospheric conditions around 18,000 feet or so, and and quite a potent wave here in the upper part of the atmosphere, crashing into the eastern part of the country, along with that cool, dry air into that moisture-laden tropical air that now we know is sitting right along the east coast. And one final map I'd like to show here is a strong upper-level jet streak. The blues here represent very strong upper-level winds. This is way up in the atmosphere again for late this afternoon, early part of this evening, and there is basically a jet streak involved in this. Swinging around this upper-level trough is very high upper-level winds will be another ingredient, perhaps setting the stage for some severe weather right along the Mid-Atlantic I-95 corridor later on this afternoon and this evening. Many areas will get more than an inch, and some areas will get more than 2 inches of rain along the east coast here when all is said and done by tomorrow morning. And in the Appalachians, there very well could be some reports of 3, 4, or even 5 inches of rain by the time all is said and done by early Wednesday. So an explosive situation, definitely the threat for some heavy rain, perhaps some damaging winds, and even some isolated tornadoes later on this afternoon and evening throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. Stay tuned to the SIweather.com for updates. That's it for now. For the SIweather.com, I'm the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.